Hi little skeletons, it is Disney Queen Skelly here, and welcome back to the reacting videos. And yesterday was my birthday, so happy belated birthday to me! Yay! I turned 25 this year. Absolutely wild. I'm a quarter of a century old. Anyways, so today we're going to be reacting to, and Harley Baby, I am so sorry about this, The Mermaids Eat Humans. This is a longer Disney theory about mermaids eating humans. Let's get into it.
Enter a world filled with adventure, magic, and music. This summer, Walt Disney brings you an epic story about following your heart again, and not letting society limit you again. Be prepared.
Listen, we get it. Disney's really repetitive. Stop calling us out. We just took old stories and made them our own. I don't know why I'm defending Disney. Let's continue.
Laugh and sing along as the malnourished mermaid Ariel rejects the archaic act of human consumption in the pursuit of true love. If you are like me, you notice things in harmless kids movies that most people don't. Like the fact that in The Little Mermaid, there's a giant ship graveyard right next to the Mermaid Kingdom.
Speaking of the castle, my mom informed us that we still have the original VHS with the penis in the castle. I'm happy to know that little piece of news that I still own it.
And how there are almost no skeletons in that graveyard. And then those observations lead to questions like, what do the mermaids eat? Why does Ariel look so malnourished? Then the next thing you know, you're explaining to your therapist of how the mermaid in the...
Before he gets into this little rant, I'll just say this. Also, before we get into the theory. I mean, it's typically known that Disney princesses are like a size -15 in every sense of the word, except for like Moana. She's a bit more built. I know, oh god, there's a couple other princesses who are like more built, or like Disney characters who are more built. I mean, one reason Ariel's so skinny is just because that's how they designed their Disney princesses back then. Skinny! Unreasonable expectations. Howdy doody.
Kids movies are eating the humans from the ships they see. Ah!
I hope you're paying your therapist overtime for that.
Okay, let's back up. Now you're probably typing away in the comments stuff like, but Caleb, the mermaids just eat fish. Or Caleb, they obviously eat seaweed. I'm looking at you, Carl. There are a few problems with those theories. First, the death and consumption of fish is barely clearly...
So I haven't watched anything but your Disney stuff, so what did Carl do to you guys?
...portrayed as a bad thing in the film. And King Triton even affirms this attitude by referring to humans as, quote, those fish eaters. So we can rule out that mermaids eat fish pretty easily. The reason they can't eat seaweed has more to do with their anatomy and nutrition. Now, as you might imagine, it's pretty...
Now, since I've already watched this, and I know he does go into the immense facts and lack of research, and literally I feel like they just not pulled it out of their ass, but like it seemed like this was just so well done. I don't know how they could have done it. I personally couldn't have done it myself. Y'all know that I just pull up random articles and read them to you, and you take them as is. So please enjoy this incredible human being's research, quote unquote research, for mermaid consumption of food. Now, the way that I kind of see it, at least with the seaweed, is some humans eat salads. Not all of us do, but some of us do. And some of us like a wide range of salads. But as we know, salads, while they are very nutritious and healthy, we can't just eat lettuce. That's just not reasonable. So people will typically add proteins, fruits, dressings, nuts, cheese, whatever, like other vegetables, whatever they so please in order to get that nutrients in order to feel full. So he makes a point in that eating just seaweed would not be feasible in this underwater world.
It's hard to find factual information on the anatomy and the daily nutritional needs of mermaids since they don't exist. So
we don't know this yet. Not all of our oceans have been explored. I wouldn't quite put that in words yet.
So for the sake of arguing, I'm going to assume that a mermaid's anatomy is similar to a human's, with the exception of the gills and tail, which last I checked humans do not have. Now,
I know it's actually genetic deformity. My apologies if that is offensive to anybody. Some humans are actually born with tails.
you might have noticed, mermaids swim a lot. It's their only mode of transportation apart from, dark ant magic. Not
Well, King Triton also has a carriage, but he's also incredibly wealthy. So you're right, swimming is probably one of their main method of transportation. That would be like humans walking around 24/7.
only do they swim a lot though, but they swim fast. How fast, you might ask? Well, Ariel was able to outswim a shark, and according to a quick Google search, that shark was a great white shark. Great white sharks can swim anywhere between 15 and 35 miles per hour. To put that in perspective, the fastest a human has ever swam is 6 miles per hour. That
Wasn't there like research done on like Scooby-Doo and Shaggy running at the same speed? Like Great Danes can run at like 40 miles an hour, so basically Shaggy could beat Usain Bolt in a 100-yard dash or something. I feel like there was research done on that.
so, I'd say it's very conservative to say that an average
Did we really have to bring politics into this?
mermaid would swim about as much as an Olympic swimmer would every day, and would therefore have similar nutritional needs. What? I'm making too many assumptions? Well, show me the research done on mermaid anatomy, Carl! Michael Phelps, an Olympic swimmer, reportedly
Take a shot every time he goes against Carl. I think we're 2 down. I'm not taking shots. I work tomorrow. Yeah.
ate as much as 12,000 calories per day. So we're going to use him as like a model for how many calories a mermaid would need to eat. What is life? Now
I mean, that's kind of a good basis to go off of, but I think they're doing this, that you'd also have to account for a mermaid needing more calories because they swim so quickly every day, which again, I think they're going to take into account.
to figure out how much seaweed a person would have to eat per day to get 12,000 calories and prove that there is no way a mermaid or anyone else could do that. Sounds easy, right? You fools. You would think that, wouldn't you? As it turns out, when you try to look up how much calories are in a given amount of seaweed, you get a wide range of results. This is because there are a lot of different species and subspecies of seaweed. But after looking
The more you know.
through enough websites to forever ensure that Google will recommend me seaweed recipes, I determined that there's
Don't you just love doing research and then all of a sudden all you see is just all of that? I can't imagine like doing research for a movie and then like the next thing you know, you go to your Google search and all you get is like, say you do a bunch of research on Marvel movies. Marvel spoilers, character spoilers, death spoilers, yada 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 yada, and you're like, can this just go away?
anywhere between 17.5 to 430 calories in 100 grams of seaweed. This means that a mermaid would have to eat anywhere between 6.2 pounds to 151.2 pounds of seaweed per day to get 12,000 calories.
You'd get so sick of it at that point.
Here's the thing about seaweed. It contains iodine. Like, a lot of iodine. And even though iodine is good for you in moderation, if taken in excess, it can be toxic and can cause some pretty nasty stuff like thyroid dysfunction. The maximum recommended dose of iodine for an adult male human is 1,100 micrograms per day.
That's so minuscule. Like, and then you could also say the same thing about like why they don't eat fish, right? Like us humans, we have a balanced diet because our bodies can't take a lot of intake of a single vitamin or a single, I'll just say vitamin because like whether it's iodine or that's not really a vitamin though. Whether it's a single substance, we can't take that much in because our body can't process it, so we need balance. Like proteins, fiber, vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin B12, whatever the case may be. We take in A lot of it because that's what our body needs. Our body can't solely survive on one thing alone, which if they were quote unquote fish eaters, that's why a lot of people, when they say like if you're stranded, be careful of how much fish you eat, because you could get mercury poisoning. Same thing could probably happen to the mermaids. If we're the same from here up, there is a strong possibility that they could also get mercury poisoning from eating so much fish.
Taking any more than that is harmful. Even if you pick a species of seaweed with relatively low iodine levels, such as nori, which, by the way, doesn't even grow near Denmark, which is where the Little Mermaid takes place, a mermaid would have to eat at least 44,996.3 micrograms per day to get 12,000 calories.
That's still way too much.
That's over 40 times the daily recommended dose. Shut up, Carl! And can you...
I mean, evolution is a thing. Our bodies could adapt. That's what we've been doing for eons.
Honestly tell me that King Triton managed to look the way he does on an entirely plant-based diet? Seriously. How...
Hey, don't piss off the vegans here. We might get a riot going.
Ever, a healthy adult male human has on average 100...
Low-key, I thought he was about to zoom into Prince Eric's dick, and while I'm sure Harley Baby would love that, I would not.
35,822 calories. So a single human can feed a mermaid for days. And yes, I really did look up the nutritional facts of a human, so if the FBI comes looking for me, you know why. But I know what you're...
Well, considering you've posted some videos since then, I think you're good, right?
Even if mermaids can't eat fish or seaweed, aren't humans kind of a big jump? I mean, how would the mermaids even get that many humans to feed an entire kingdom? I mean, it's not like the king has a magical weapon that can create ship-sinking storms at will. And even if he did, wouldn't there be like a giant ship graveyard right next to the mermaid kingdom? And let's talk about
This kid does make a very fair point.
that ship graveyard for a moment. Despite getting a good look at the graveyard and the interior of a ship, we only see one skeleton. The movie makes a point of the fact that the only way in and out of the ship in which the skeleton was found was through a tiny window. A window that Flounder, who is a fish, got stuck in. So where could all the skeletons have went? Unless they were dragged out through that window by something with, I don't know.
Okay, so they're dragged. That's a lovely face I just paused you on. Okay, so they're dragged out, right? Now, I'm even assuming back then humans came in all shapes and sizes. So, assuming Ariel, a teeny tiny little half-human thing, was able to fit in there, just barely, mind you, if they were pulling humans out of there with hips, as I grab my shoulders and hips and thighs and some boobs, but I'm assuming they're mostly male, so yeah, you're gonna have the broad shoulders for the men. If you're pulling them out and you're actually able to get them through, I'm just saying that you would lose a lot of meat at that point, in which case you'd have to go back because you're just shredding them through that tiny porthole. You'd have to go back in the ship, grab the meat that was lost from the human, and bring it back out. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Grabbing appendages and opposable thumbs, perhaps? So you want to talk about evolution, Carl? Well, riddle me this. Stuff like arms and legs makes an animal less aerodynamic and hard for them to swim and move through water. This is why the legs of whales evolved into flippers. So why did mermaids retain a very specific characteristic that's an inconvenience to them if it didn't serve a vital function, such as dragging humans to their watery graves? And while we're talking about beneficial characteristics, might I remind you that the mermaids in The Little Mermaid seem to be heavily inspired off of the creature from Greek mythology known as the Sirens. The Sirens will lure sailors in with their magical voices that had an enchanting effect on them. Sounds familiar? But they were...
Well, yeah, I keep pausing on the most attractive faces for you. You're technically not wrong. I'm gonna refer to a scene that I'm sure a lot of you folks remember watching The Little Mermaid. At least I'd hope you remember. Ursula is a sea witch, so by conventional human standards, she wasn't very attractive, at least to some people. The thing is, right, like she obviously with making herself look pretty, if she used her own voice, the voice and the body would not fit together. So she stole Ariel's voice because of reasons, and in gaining Ariel's voice as Vanessa, being as beautiful as she was as Vanessa, she was able to charm Eric into falling in love with her, and you can see the hypnotism with this little like yellow glow that comes up and hypnotizes his eyes. So yes, in a way you are correct, but at the same time Ursula's also a sea witch, she's not a mermaid. But also at the same time, you are right, Ariel did sing to Eric when she saved him, but he also got to know her while she was silent and got to know like a bit about her personality and who she was. So I think in a way, the song itself started it, but I think in the end, the 3 days he got with her solidified it.
Lead into dangerous rocks and shorelines, and after sinking the vessel, they would devour the men on board. So apart from the unrealistic wind and body images promoted by movies, perhaps this is why Ariel is skinnier than a freaking fish.
Well, so are her sisters. I also thought of something kind of dark. Okay, so if we're going off the fact that sirens would lure sailors to their deaths, right? That could really explain why Triton had a lot of daughters. He needed to eat, man, and all of them are really good singers. I'm just putting that out there.
Perhaps she is really malnourished because she is fascinated by the humans and sees them as fellow intelligent beings instead of food. Congratulations, you have now spent several minutes of your life listening to an adult man talk in detail about the diet and nutritional needs of the mermaids in The Little Mermaid.
I really don't feel like I wasted my time.
You should feel very proud of yourself.
I do, honestly.
And if you want to see more weird crap like this, subscribe to our channel because believe me, we have a lot of weird crap. FBI, open up!
Well, I'll let him deal with that. I'm gonna propose this now, whether you guys see this video or not. If you do, great. If you don't, great. I will message you guys if you don't. Would you guys like to collaborate on some really weird Disney theories? Like if you guys end up having more Disney theories, I would love to collab with you because the only ones that I have gotten are the ones online that I've read from articles, which I'm sure you guys may or may not have seen those videos. But I would love to collaborate because I feel like we could have a really good discussion on some of these Disney theories that you guys post on here. If you want to do that, please message me on Instagram. You guys have my Instagram. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'd like to know your opinions in the comment section down below. And don't forget to subscribe to Fandom Juice. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, little skeletons. Stay safe. And I love you guys.